بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. كلية الإمام كاظم أقسام الديوانية، قسم اللغة الإنجليزية، مرحلة ثالثة، مادة اللغة، تدريس محمد حسين. عندنا مراجعة هذا الأسبوع إن شاء الله. Okay. Chapter number 1. Some questions by some your classmates, by some students. Sabreen, Zainab, Fatma and Maha. Sabreen, Zainab, Fatma and Fatma, all of them almost have the same question, but Maha is different. I'm going to talk about them in some detail. So question number 1, how does linguistics differ from traditional grammar? How does linguistics differ from traditional grammar? First of all, we have to know the difference between linguistics and traditional grammar. You know that linguistics is a new term in the modern age, but grammar, that's why we call it traditional. It means in the past. Grammar in the past, there was grammar, there was no linguistics. Okay, that's why we call it what? Grammar. So in the past there were no linguists. Linguists and اللغويون. There was no a linguist. Rather there was what? A grammarian, النحويون أو النحوي. Okay. Now we have what? We have these terms. We have linguists, we have grammarians. It means that those who are specialized in grammar, and we have phoneticians, those who are specialized in phonetics, phonologists, those who are specialized in phonology. Okay, semanticists, those who are specialized in semantics. And in details we have nowadays. You see the difference. But in the old times, or let me say that before 200, 300 years ago, okay, there were what? Only grammarians for this, for Plato, Aristotle, okay, the origin of language. All of them are what? Under this term, grammarians. Linguist is grammarians in the past. A phonetician, grammarian. All of them are the same. Even if we want to translate it in English, maybe in Arabic, maybe we can say that the grammarians in the past means اللغوي, but now it means النحوي. Okay, because there was no term like a linguist. What is the difference between them? We have, as in your book, we have three main differences. Of course, we have many differences between them, and you can check them. You can find them on Google. You can find them George Yule, okay, Jean Acheson Linguistics. So, what is the difference between the linguistics and traditional grammar? First of all, we have to know that linguistics is what? Is descriptive. What do we mean by descriptive? Okay, and traditional grammar is prescriptive. And what do we mean by prescriptive? We talk a lot about these two terms. Linguistics, when we say that they are descriptive, it means what? It means they are interested in what people say. You see, linguistics. That's why I use this term. Those linguists, they are what? Interested in what people say. They care about what people say, not what people must or ought to say. Okay? But the grammarians, no, they are prescriptive. They are prescriptive. They what? They ask people to what? To follow the rules. They put rules. They put rules and ask people to follow these rules. To follow these rules. So what people ought to say, not what people say. يعني here linguistics and traditional grammar, they are the opposite. Linguistics, they what? They depend on people, what people say. But grammarians, no. They say we don't depend on people because people are ordinary, normal. But we give them rules, and we tell them to follow these rules. But linguists, no. The linguists, they say, no, we don't give them rules. We take the rules, we take pronunciation from people. How people say this word. How people put this rule. Okay? This is the main and the first difference between them. The second difference between them is that concerning that linguistics, they focus on what? They focus on spoken word. But traditional grammar, they focus on what? On written word. You see? spoken word, but traditional grammar or grammarians, they focus on what? On written word. Why they focus on written word, traditional grammarians? They think that the language that was written is by philosophers like Plato, Aristotle, Horace, etc. So this language is perfect. Okay, the language is perfect. The written language is perfect. So they focus on what? On written word. But linguists, no, they criticize them. They tell us, or they write that we should not depend. Number one, of course we depend on written word, but we should not depend first on writing, rather on speaking. Speaking is superior to writing. You see? Speaking first, writing second. Why? Why they focus on speaking, linguists? They say that because we focus on speaking because speaking comes first. Okay? Speaking comes first and then writing. Like for example, those children first they learn speaking or writing. Of course they learn speaking, then writing. Maybe they don't learn how to write, for example, just speaking. So they said that speaking is number one. Speaking came before writing. Okay, this is the second. I'm just summarizing here. You have the detail, you can check them in your book. The third way, or the third point, the difference between them is that Latin-based framework. Traditional grammarian think that Latin language is perfect. So they think that if we want to make rules for English language, we don't need to make. We should apply the rules that are found in Latin to English, because Latin language is perfect. That's why here we have certain examples to split infinitive. Don't split infinitive, because in Latin don't split. So don't split in English. Okay, don't start, for example, a sentence with a preposition. So they want to generalize the rules that are found in Latin to English language. But linguists, they say what? They say no, we should not apply the rules of Latin to any language. Why? They say that each language has own rules. Each language has own system, has own framework. Okay? So we should not apply the rules of Latin. We should not do this. Each language has own system. Okay? And also, maybe this is not found in your book, the grammarians say that the languages are primitive. Some languages, some dialects are primitive. You know, primitive, it means that something not civil. It's out of civilization. Okay? بدائي يعني. But linguists, they say no, there is nothing which is primitive. No language is better than another. Okay? Even rural or urban, if we want to compare between what is in the city and in countryside. No language is better than the another. Each language, each dialect has own system. Okay? This is the point. These are the three differences between linguistics and traditional grammar. Okay? Here Sabrin, the same question, especially Latin-based framework. Yes, I explain it. Because they think that Latin is the origin. Latin is the is written by philosophers. Okay, it is a model for all languages. Those grammarians. But linguists, they say no, it is not this. What can be applied to Latin is not necessary to be applied to another language. Here the difference between linguistics and Latin I explaining. Okay, Zainab Riyal Hadi has a question: why the grammarians are not judgmental? This is not right. Can I say that they are not They are not judgmental. Maybe ungrammatical here. But anyway, why grammarians are not No, the grammarians are judgmental. Okay, I put it in this way: they judge, but the linguists do not judge. Okay, this is the difference. They what? They judge. Grammarians judge, as I said, when they, for example, when they want to look at some languages, they say that these languages are of what? Primitive society. This is primitive. This language is not good. This language is superior. Latin is superior. Okay? Latin is perfect. It's the language of what? Of philosophers. It is a model that all languages should do the same, should follow the same rules that are found in Latin. So they judge. But linguists, they don't judge. Linguists what? Do not judge. They don't judge. They don't. They don't agree with the grammarians. They don't agree that Latin is perfect and other languages are not perfect. They don't agree that languages are primitive. Some languages are primitive because some people use primitive or simple terms, simple words. They don't agree with them about this point. They say that each language has own system. Each language has own framework. We should not judge languages. We should not judge languages. Okay? So this is the difference between them. Grammarians judge, but linguists do not judge. And you can check this point in your book. Why do Fatima here asked you the question? Why do linguists regard speech rather than writing as primary? I answered this question. Mahasma'il here question: distinguish between synchronic and diachronic linguistics. I put it in this way. Maybe in your book you have 2 lines, but here I put it in this way and I give you examples. What is synchronic study? What is diachronic study? When we say synchronic study, it means what? Aims or describes a language at a specific point of time. See? Specific point of time. Specific. But diachronic approach or linguistics considers the development, evaluation, and changes of a language through what? Through history. See? Through history. I will give you example here. For example, analyzing the word order. Someone or a student wants to analyze the word order, subject, verb, complement. So, if you want to analyze the word order in a sentence in Old English, only in Old English, it means here what? Specific time, only this time, at this time. It would be what? It would be in a synchronistic linguistics. See? So it is a synchronic study. But if you look at how word order changed, if we want to see the change of word order from Old English till now, okay? For example, you want to see the change, the method or the process of word changing, word formation from the past to now, or if you want to follow the meaning of certain words from the past to now, okay, or from Victorian age to now. This is what? This is diachronic. See? From Old English to Middle English, and now to Modern English. This is what? This is diachronic. So diachronic and synchronic. Synchronic, specific time, simply specific time, but diachronic, no, through history, long period of time. You see? I hope it's clear. Thank you for asking these questions, and if you have any questions, you can ask maybe about next chapters. No problems. I may give you a pause to ask certain questions about the next chapter. Thank you so much, and see you next time.